Gyasi here with Black Excellence, and we're acknowledging aspirations and achievements. I'm here with the lovely Josie Gyasi here, and so we're going to talk a little bit about your achievements, your journey basically to thus far, because you're 26? 27 now, you know, so a big woman now, you know. So, you know, so yeah, just talk a little bit about your journey and stuff. So, you know, you're born in Bristol as well?
So I'm born in London.
Born in London? Whereabouts in London?
I'm from North London.
North London.
But I was moved around a lot as a child. And I grew up in Hertfordshire. So I grew up in a town called Bishop's Stortford. I can't not say it that way. And I moved here 6 years ago.
Okay. And what brought you to Bristol?
I came here to study, mainly, but also actually to get away from the place that I was in. That was a big pool. And actually Bristol was one of the only places where I didn't know anyone. So I knew a lot of friends that studied pretty much everywhere. Brighton, Liverpool, they took every city.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to have my own place.
Yeah.
So it all kind of happened quite beautifully. But as soon as the day that I got here, I was like, oh my God, this is where I should be. Literally. So yeah.
So I wouldn't even know you weren't from here. Like, you seem very like natural to it. Do you know what I mean? There's a certain Bristol vibe. And I think you're definitely got the X factor, you know.
10 out of 10. You're going through to the next round.
And so you're of Ghanaian heritage as well.
I do,
and do you does that come into your everyday life? Is that something is that in the forefront of your mind, living as a black person in Britain?
Unfortunately not.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, I was very estranged from my culture and heritage as a child as well. So I'm still kind of rediscovering, not rediscovering, but just doing what I can in that aspect. Obviously I don't really have a Ghanaian community here.
No.
I have a very small but tight black community here, which is kind of usually the case, to be honest. So I wouldn't say it's at the forefront, but it's definitely there.
Of course. It never leaves you, does it, really, at the end of the day? Yeah.
Got my little Ghanaian beats on
today.
I
love it.
brought them out for the interview. Exactly.
Matching. Did you grow up around a lot of black family, a lot of Ghanaian family, or?
Yes and no. Like I said, I was estranged from my African family as a child, so I grew up very closely to them when I was very, very young. And then through a lot of kind of, let's just say, not even hardship, but just a lot of mess as a child, I was moved away from them for a very long time. And I reconnected with them as a teenager. But as a child, I was always really, really close to them, and now I'm closer to them than any other part of my family. Very close to my cousins and my auntie. My auntie's basically like my mum, but they all live in London. So.
Oh yeah.
And they're all in Ghana at the moment. So
oh really?
Yes. I got a call from my auntie the other day. She's just laughing every time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you have plans to visit Ghana?
I do indeed.
You been before?
I have.
Oh yeah.
Once.
Where'd you go?
Definitely changed my life. Do you know Ghana?
I know Accra.
Everyone.
Yeah.
It's like, where do you live in London? So I went all around. So my family from all around, but I kind of landed in Accra and then went to Wenchi and Sunyani. Sunyani is my favourite place ever. And Kumasi. I was there for like 2 weeks. But there's so much about Ghana and my culture and everything that I still don't know and I need to know. Even to this day, I get people on my WhatsApp it's like, Lauren, hi, it's Lauren. I'm like, who's Lauren? Your cousin. I'm like,
yeah.
Fair enough when you're there, but I'm just getting it now on a random Wednesday. Anyway.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's obviously lots to be explored there, but yeah, generally I'm quite close to them, and I think the main thing that I do that is definitely weaved into my life is my food.
Yeah.
And my I guess my self-care. Like I'm obsessed with DIY skincare and hair care. So I make all my own body butters. This is not a plug or anything.
Yeah, plug it, man. Plug it.
Just if you fancy some organic shea, I'm joking. So I feel like that was kind of born from a project that I did at uni, actually, thinking about my roots and natural ingredients, etc. And then my food and cooking, I love cooking so much. Like, if you know me, you know I love food and you know I love cooking. So I feel like that definitely connects me. And sometimes it's almost like a ritual when I make, say like on last week I made African stew, mackerel stew. I actually intended to make mackerel stew. Forgot that it wasn't mackerel. I bought sardines.
Yeah, that's quite a big difference.
I know, and I was just like, I just got so fixated on this, and then I called my auntie. She just laughed me down the phone.
Yeah, I would.
Yeah, exactly. Because she's always like, "You're always trying," and I'm like, "I really am."
Yeah.
So I feel like it's a bit of a ritual to kind of. I don't call her every time I cook, but every time I cook it, I think of her.
Yeah.
So I feel like those connections like that are very significant. And then with dancing, that kind of connects me to my cousin. He's like an insane dancer. He does a lot of African dance. So just like little things like that. So it's not at the forefront, but it's there.
It's there, yeah. No, it sounds like it definitely is. Even if it's not something that you like step on the street and think everything I do, I'm a
black
woman.
Black,
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Sometimes you know things will tell you like.
That's me. To be honest. Literally everywhere I go, that's all I'm thinking about.
Really?
Because I'm a black Jamaican man in the UK.
Wow.
Yeah, I can't let it go.
You can't let it go. Have you tried?
What, let go? I let it go way back.
You don't want to.
I've only sort of recently discovered it, I think, to be honest.
Wow.
But,
that's interesting. So it
is interesting, yeah. No, yeah. Next time for me. So also, like, you know, when you go back to Ghana, do you feel you are welcomed in?
Oh my god.
Or do you feel like you are a foreigner, you are an outsider, you're an English person?
I am the biggest Ebony foreigner going. I'm coming through, like, obviously I've only been once.
Yeah.
But I feel like it will be the same case going back again. My skin colour is one thing, you know, I'm quite light skinned. When it's summertime, like I'm oh, you are.
Yeah, let me get my tan.
Yeah, maybe I'm coming through a little bit.
Yeah.
Or like those white people, like I'm as dark as you.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's obviously a very prominent. You know, we all know that.
Yeah.
But obviously the way
a lot of colorism there as well.
Exactly.
Yeah.
100%. But generally, yeah, Western people are so flipping different to, you know, come on. Like, I remember I was in my grandma's, she's got like this open house. It's crazy. It's like this little rectangle shape and there's like loads of different rooms. And then in the middle, there's like an open square. In the daytime, she just opens the doors and the whole community just come through and just play and chill. There's like a hairdresser at the top. Like, it's mad. But I remember very, very, very specifically remember being out on this, like, this in the middle, and it was sunny, and I wanted to sunbathe. Oh my god! They were whipping me, they were slapping me. They were like, "What the hell are you doing?" And they were shouting at my auntie like, "What is this child doing? Why is she trying to burn her skin?" And that was a big like, "Oh wow, what, of course, like what." Do you know what I mean? That was you know, why are you coming to Ghana to sunbathe? They're thinking, what? Do you know what I mean? What is she doing?
Yeah, because they think you're like blessed because you have light skin and stuff. They think, why would you want to ruin that?
Of course. And then there's just the thing of like, we're sunbathing. Why are you sunbathing? Like, that's just not necessarily in their culture. Do you know what I mean? That's what a luxury, what a life. You're gonna come here and lie in the sun. Exactly.
Yeah. Definitely.
So that I've never forgotten that. Forgotten that. And now sometimes I'm with my friend.
Yeah.
Get up, work. So yeah.
And so you're
sorry,
back in Bristol. You're associated with Rise and Arts Agency. You've done a little bit of work with them, and you currently work as a creative director. Producer. Sorry, I read the wrong thing.
It's alright.
As a creative producer.
I do creative directing.
So I want to talk to you a little bit about what you think about the art scene in Bristol. Like, I think because I won't class myself as an artist. I do a little bit of poetry and stuff like that. But in terms of like the art scene in Bristol, do you think it's quite Eurocentric, or do you think there is a like black art scene here?
Interesting question. I would say, do I know anywhere in the UK that hasn't got a Eurocentric art scene? I do feel like the black community, creative arts, etc., is very strong in Bristol, in the sense that when you are in a place where you have to come together as a people, that creates something very strong, very powerful. So it's not necessarily, I'm not saying it's not a good thing, but yeah, it's like what I'm trying to say, like, you're not forced to, but like when you have to, it kind of makes it a bit stronger. Does that make sense at all?
Yeah, no, I get what you mean. Yeah.
But I guess, yeah, I would say that it is. I don't really try and bother myself with that or try to understand or unpick that, because I think I've come from so I studied at university, I studied design, and off the back of that, I've worked directly at the university to try and tackle race equality, and then from that I'm kind of working at local level in a community trying to tackle social inequality. So it's kind of like I don't know if my perspective is even like, I'm not really in the art scene, if you will.
No.
You know, but I know it from that level. I'm there I'm trying to turn the cogs in that way. Yeah. I'm not out down trying to like be part of a scene, or do you know what I mean?
Yeah, of course. No, you're more of like an individual kind of thing, doing your work.
100%.
Yeah, no, I get that completely.
And the work that I did with Rising, what are your plans, which is what you're probably referring to. Yeah.
That's kind of what I think was my introduction to you, mainly.
100%. I think that is a lot of people's introduction.
Yeah, so I sort of see that, I'm like, oh, she's a poet, you know, she's writing that.
This is what, and it's like,
it's just God, sort of pigeonholing you, really,
even, And I even nearly went down that for a little bit. I was like, oh, I'm a poet, yeah. I was like, no, Josie, you're not flipping. What are you doing? What? You're here to make change. That's the main thing. Yeah. So if that's through poetry, if that's through art, if that's through writing, if that's through creative producing, if that's through music, whatever, that's where it is. I think that's very important to understand. And I think some people who seriously get lost in themselves, and I've seen it, they love it. Yeah. And I think this particular piece that you're talking about, that was very specific and very triggered and reactionary. And the way it happened was like, you know, George Floyd was murdered. There was a billboard campaign. I wrote something. It was all happened very like, almost like magic, if you know what I mean. So just make that clear.
Yeah. So how would you like describe yourself and the work you're trying to like, if you like, you know, in a short way, of like, you know.
Short.
Okay. All right.
No, I'm joking. Generally, I've just got a passion I really do have a passion to inspire. Yeah. This is why I'm like, yes, this is great. And to make change. Yeah. And I think that they're like two of the pillars, I guess. And there's so much within that. It's very broad, but I feel like I enjoy so much. I do so much. It's hard to just say, oh, like I'm a designer maker, or I do radio, or I'm a creative producer, because I do all of those things. But that's not just me. I do all of those things because of those two pillars, and like my passion for community and people. So yeah.
And so you're quite like like so you do a lot of different things. You've got quite an active person. You're on the radio as well, and so like with people who have this much passion, this much energy, and this much ability as well, and capability, you know, what they always have this sort of an inspirational figure or number of figures. And is there any sort of people in your direct life who's influenced you, or people you've seen on TV, or you know, what sort of characters and role models do you look up to and try and emulate?
I always get stuck on this question because I'm like,
who do you choose?
Yeah, no, not even. No,
okay.
Literally.
Okay.
And that's what the sad thing about it is. It's not even my, I don't know. Because this is not a big-headed thing. I've always been my own inspiration. I've never had to, I've never been trying to make my mum or dad proud, because I'm estranged from those two people. I'm always have and always will strive to make myself proud. And within that, you kind of maybe, I'm not lose track, but very focused on just me and all of this. And unfortunately, I didn't have any black role models growing up. I have one amazing, incredible one, which is my Auntie Rose. I love you, Auntie Rose. You're so hilarious.
Shout honestly, Auntie Rose.
She's so great. And her outlook on life is just everything. I think we're so similar on that. She's just incredible, and she'll have nothing, which she has stuff. She has people, she's got everything, but she can have nothing, and she'll still be so happy and so joyous, and I really feel like I emulate that. Like even when I called her the other day and I was cooking my own food, I'm cooking chicken and rice, and she's like, some people are lucky, and I'm like, wow, how am I lucky for cooking anyway? You're just always like, so my Auntie Rose has been she's one of my biggest role models. And I think celebrity-wise, the only woman, one of them, there's so many obviously, the main woman who I think absolutely love is Jada Pinkett Smith. Yeah. Mainly because of her spirituality and her openness and her journey. And I really resonate with her in that sense. She's been through it, I've been through it, so I'm like, oh. And then directly, there's two people, Mina Fombo. If you know Mina Fombo,
I don't.
She's incredible. Shout out to Mina. She founded Black Girl Convention, and that program and that community was a massive change. That meant so much to me when I become part of that. Oh my God! Now it's coming through. Nayo, shout out to Nayo. She, yeah. But also Zena Khan, who founded the equity program. People I'm very, very close to. I don't really I'm not here to be like Oprah Winfrey, yeah. It's very, very simple, I think.
Yeah.
And my manager. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like my manager Zoe. Shout out to Zoe. She's great.
Yeah.
She's like really super fit and just really great. And she just always makes me feel guilty for like, she goes running like 6 a.m. You know what I mean? And I'm like sick. I want to do that.
That's great. Even beyond like the physical aspect, it's also like a mental
100%.
drivenness to get up and do that and be in that position. Like I'd do a bit of jogging, but sometimes I sat down and I'm like,
it's long.
I just can't be bothered.
But when you do it,
and it's 6 a.m. That's commitment, and you do. You feel amazing, and it's knowing that like at first it's going to be tough, but you're going to get your end reward, and I think that's a great thing to touch on. I think as well.
100%.
So we spoke a bit about your Auntie Rose as well, and so you've not grown up, you've not been that connected with the black aspect of your family. Not at all. Completely separated from them.
Not as what I could remember. You know, not like I can be told like, how I was with them and stuff, but not what I can remember. Like,
yeah.
Sadly.
So in your home, who raised you? Like really, who was your like close sort of primary family members, if you will?
Initially, my mum.
Yeah.
But my mum was a drug and alcohol abuser. So she was just wild AF. And
yeah, we don't have to go into that.
No, that's cool. I'm just trying to think of a PC way of saying it, really. So her initially quite a lot, but very much in and out. And then my foster mum was fostered at 13, which is
that's quite a difficult time, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, there's not a really good time to be fostered, is there? But like
13
that's
is
such
wild.
A pivotal point in your life.
Yeah, it's really wild. So I was fostered at 13 by a woman, just single parent.
White woman.
In Bishop Stortford. So I totally estranged from my African identity, but being fostered and with her, I was able to reconnect, etc., and
Yeah, did she like, because I have it with like, I'm half white, my mum's white and stuff like that, and I've never felt that she's really pushed me towards my black heritage.
You don't feel that?
No, not at all. And I don't think she's got that understanding. So, having, a white mum and also a white foster parent, did either of them really, like, obviously, your foster parent allowed you to sort of connect with your, African family, your heritage, but did any of them really push you in that direction? No, not at all.
Okay, we'll give Leslie some credit here, where it's due. She tried. She definitely did try. But again, there's only so much you can do.
Definitely, yeah.
And like their trying is going to be from their white perspective.
Yeah,
right?
Of course.
So like I remember very vividly, she asked me and my little sister. I'm sorry, Leslie, I'm not parting you out at all. Okay? She made me and my little sister watch The Roots, which is, have you seen it?
Yeah, I've not actually watched. I watched the remake with that Lawrence Fishburne.
And at the time, I was like, ooh, like, yay! And I understand, but it's like I'm not going to learn about my flipping life through watching Roots,
Yeah.
But there's effort there, and stuff with like my hair and that. She'd always, I guess actually at that age I was very independent, so she could only do what she could do. My mum, not a damn flipping chance. I actually again remember very vividly. Me and my little sister got knits in like when we were really young, really young, and she literally shaved both of our heads off because she couldn't be asked to sort through.
Yeah.
So that's that. Do I need to even explain anymore? My
no,
mum
that
tried.
makes sense. Yeah.
So yeah, man, it's really not been easy. And then pretty much all of my white peers, all of my peers were white. See, I can't even say peers without saying white. I'm joking. All of my peers were white. It was like a few of us minorities who really stuck together, but sometimes actually fought. And looking back now, I'm like, oh my god, was that us? I'm talking about Shaquille. Was that us fighting to be the black one? Do you watch Key and Peele?
Yeah, I know a bit of it, yeah.
There's a really, sorry to sidetrack, it's a really good sketch on there. And they both join a band, and then one of them's a black guy in the band, and then the other black guy comes in and they're like fighting to be the black guy. It's so flipping accurate, but I'd highly recommend to watch that. So yeah, anyway, yeah, that was the sitch in a nutshell.
That's really interesting.
It's a lot.
Yeah, no, that's good. That's a lot to process.
When we talk about Black excellence, I feel like, first of all, if you were to ask me, which you may, sorry to take the question out of your mouth, what it means to me, I would literally just, like, black is excellence. That is the answer. Like, there's nothing more around that. I feel like we have so much history and culture and community and also confusion, and I need to stop trying to think of C words. Start breaking out into poetry. But yeah, that question really was like in my head the whole way here, because I was just like, and I remember very like there's Black Queen and Slim in that film. Daniel Kaluuya, don't know why I can't say that. I actually know who he is as well, by the way, just saying. He says something about, what does he say? Why do we have to be excellent all the time? Why isn't being black enough?
Yeah.
And I really, really believe that. Like,
massively. For
me, I'm proud of every little step, every getting out of bed, going for my jog, you know, doing my own hair, all of those little things. I'm like, that all makes me excellent, because everything else is pretty much built so that those things are even difficult. Yeah. And if I, as a black woman, can live with pleasure and, you know, calm and peace and joy and happiness, that is enough. That is enough. And that is what I've tried to get to, and that's where I'm still trying to get to. And like, that is one of my biggest goals, is just to be happy and not have to worry. And what a life. Can you imagine that you would step out and say, I am, or what were you saying when you step out the door?
Everything I do, I'm black. You know, I'm black Jamaican.
Yeah, which is great, of course. But, you know, imagine if you could do that without any of the negative parts. Like, none of it. And that was just like how white people just step out like,
and
chest.
Exist.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, without having that thinking, I walk into a shop, I'm a young black boy.
You're like, I'm a buy this.
Yeah, fully.
I don't know.
No, I think it's really, really, really good that you said that, because the whole purpose of the project, it wasn't exactly to be like, oh, you know, you're a professional footballer, you're a singer, you're blah, 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 because that's what we see all the time. That is what gets branded as black excellence. So just, it was about the everyday things, like you said, just existing and you know, making it through the foster care system, you know what I mean? Because I've known like a lot of people, you know, fall into crime and stuff like that. And then, you know, next, you know, they're trying to deport them, you know, because they're saying they're not actual like citizens, all this sort of thing, even though they've lived there their whole lives.
And that's just one story, one person. There's so much.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah, exactly. And just like you said, existing and just being able to survive in a society that is trying to tear you down. It's not even just trying to make it harder for you. It doesn't want you to. It wants you to go down and, like, you know, degrade basically. But you know, you're shining through that, and you are excellent, and that's why I brought you here today.
Thank you.
So just to finish off, I just want to ask you, what is one of your biggest achievements, and what is one of your long-term goals, basically? You know, it's quite
that actually sounds like an interview question. They actually asked that in interviews. I want to work for this company.
Yeah. Why do you want to work for me? Where do you see yourself in 5 years?
What is my biggest achievement? Jesus, that also
could be anything though. It's not about what other people look at and be like, oh, that was great for you. But it's like, what do you value that you have done?
I think one of them, probably the biggest one, is actually being where I am, who I am, through the hardship that I have come through, a lot of trauma, abuse, and bullshit, and still I'm able to be happy. I'm able to love and be loved. That's very rare when you are faced with so much hardship and so much damage. It's very, and I've not always been in this place, so I'm very, very, very acutely aware of it. I think I'm just more, my biggest achievement is definitely just being who I am at where I am. But if we were to put like an actual accolade, God, that's so hard. There's so many. Like, if you were to ask me this a few years ago, my biggest achievement would be that I got to university. That my stupid foundation teacher said to me, and it's that classic thing, they should know by now, that if you tell a young black girl she can't do something when she has determination, she is gonna do it. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, was that your trick?
Yeah. Maybe did it on purpose.
Then maybe I don't know.
Probably not.
So like, if you were to ask me this all those years ago, it'd be like that. The fact that I got to university to study product design, she said to me, "Girl, you know, it's too academic. You can't do this. You should just do fine art or something." And I was like, you know. And then if you asked me this a few years ago, I've graduated with a first class and I won an award for best in show. You know, that would, you know, great. But then if you ask me this year or last year, I, you know, was able to respond to the killing or the murder of someone through creating a poem that literally shook the city, and I was on national news, etc., etc.
Yeah.
Today it's like, you know, I just I'm doing my job really well. You know, I don't know. It's really
you're existing,
hard.
You're thriving. You're growing. You're healthy. You're happy. One
of my most proudest things very recently, though, is that I was, so we say headhunted, but I was asked to be associate lecturer for product design, and for someone who's literally came to, at one point I'm just trying to survive. Throughout my whole childhood, I was literally just trying to survive. So to survive now to get to uni, well done. That's enough. To then do that and then, you know, get your degree. And now at this point, I'm actually tutoring other students. That's me. Sick. That's sick. So that I think that's probably something I have to give myself a clap for. And thank you. Crew, can we get a crew clap? I'm joking.
Claps in the building.
And that makes me happy because one of my biggest values, or whatever, not value, but yeah, is to inspire. So it's like so by doing that, I have to do enough to inspire, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, and then maybe my new tattoo.
Black Lives Matter and a rose. I like that. Very nice.
It's my first and only tattoo. I'm really proud of it. I know, and I showed my foster mum and she was like, anyway. So yeah, I hope that answered your question.
Yeah, it does. Thank you so much for coming along.
You're welcome.
And it was a pleasure to meet you as well. And so I can see that you're thriving. So yeah, thank you for that interview.
Thank you.
Cheers.